All right. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh,
Hashem,
Hashem, Yahweh
Yahushua,
Shai,
and
Bahashem
Yeshua.
Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp. I'm the brother Korah Abad. And as always, we got the beloved Elder Tazapah and the Water Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for blessing us with another opportunity to come forth and bring forth this news, man. Which, hey, we
Uh-huh.
living in exciting times. And y'all probably going to hear us say that from here on out. Because according to the scriptures, things going to get worse according to our hope from here on out. And there's a lot going on, and that's how prophecy worked too. You know what, Atazapah? Like I think it's a second Esdras 4:37. It says, by measure have he measured the time, and by number have he numbered the times, and he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Because about 2 weeks ago we had started the video and was like, well, ain't too much going on, but it got a few things going on. But now I feel like there's a whole lot of things going on. But that's the point. One thing of being a prophet, but not just being a prophet, but having the spirit of the Lord and discernment. Because as a lot of prophecies are being fulfilled, there's a lot of distractions. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? You know,
Yeah. Uh,
and Esau, he is kind of like the Truman Show. If y'all ever seen a Truman Show, everything we see around us is being planned, put into law, is being faked, and that's why you see in the title which says the stage is being set right for World War III and a police state, man. But before we hop into it, other times, you have anything?
no, you said 4 and 37 or 32?
I think it's second Esdras 4:37, maybe.
Okay, now that says. Let me. I'm tripping. Okay, I'm tripping. Yeah. So Well, shit. I'm in first Ezra.
Yeah, that's second Esdras 4:37. I got it up if you want me to read it.
Yeah, but it says here, first Ezra 4 and 37. By measure had he measured the times. So, is my book off?
Oh, you got that KJ that
Oh,
16.
now no, it's second Ezra. But on this page, it's saying first Ezra. But yeah, it is second Ezra.
Kanye,
I
I know
don't
that
know.
1611. If you got a 1611, to be doing it at times.
Yeah, it's 1611. So yeah, you're right. But at the top it say first Ezra.
Con.
But yeah, I can read it. Second Ezra 4 and 37. By measure had he measured the times, and by number had he numbered the times. And he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you want to say something on that?
No, I was just about to say that. So the Lord do everything on His timing. It may seem as if things not going on, and a day later, a few weeks later, a week later, there's a lot happening on the earth. That's the Lord planning. He using these people on the earth. That's why it's the Lord's stage. But now you got Elder Size of Pop.
No, that was it. Yeah, I didn't have nothing else.
Okay, kind. So yeah, we could hop straight into it. Let me see if any and Shalom Tala Akim Akwath who tuning in, Yahweh Shemal Shah Brakathum, and whoever else may be tuning in. But we'll hop straight into it again. All these things are being said. Now I know like last week it was a lot going on with Israel, Iran, and of course America. As we know, according to the prophecy, that Israel, the small hats, the least of the flock, was going to be the ones to draw the chief of the Edomites into war to destroy both of them. Now, it's going to be a lot of things that got to happen even leading up to that. And there's going to be a lot of skirmishes and fights like Yahushua prophesied and said wars and rumors of wars. Well, some of those rumors and even some of those wars going to be faked. They're going to be forced. They're going to be faked, just to give maybe
Yeah.
America and Israel a reason to move, or they just going according to the plan. And we'll speak on it here in a few. Now, we're going to start with this video. Now, this was put out a day ago by Snyder Reports. We haven't played him in a minute. Put out a day ago. Now, we gonna jump around this video. It's just 8 minutes. We ain't gonna be long because we want to move on. We got a few things, to touch on here in a few, but he gonna kind of give a quick update on what happened recently with Israel and Iran, because I know as everybody been sending the news, they said it was a ceasefire, supposedly, right? Which there was no paper sign, it was just Trump, and we had talked on the phone, yeah, ceasefire. And the world went, well, Americans went with it, you know? But the thing is, one, even according to prophecy, said it ain't gonna be no peace. It ain't gonna be no, well, it ain't say ceasefire, but it says when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. But after Trump supposedly called a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, and he'll go through it, that Iran came, Israel, as they always do, blame other people and play the victim just to give them the reason to move in. Now he gonna explain what happened, and he gonna explain, things that could come from it, and we'll move on. But Elder Tazapai, at any time, let me know, because I'm gonna play it until he kind of mentioned that part with the missiles, and I was gonna play the first 2 minutes of this video.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, let me know if you got something though. Con. Hey, shalom to the Akim on the comment board too, man. Let me get this real quick. The brother Yahweh, Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the sun. A time to love and a time to hate, right? It was once a time to love. In that era, like the 2000 era, when they had the the love songs. What's some good love songs? Can you be my wife? Shit like that. That was a time of love and all that. But now we ain't in time of, that's why you got YM music. You got drill music. That's the energy the Lord pushing. It ain't time of love no more. It says a time of love and a time of hate. And guess what? A time of war and a time of peace. And it's clear we're not in a time of peace. It's a time of war, man. But I'll go ahead and play this quick vid.
And warned. And look at this. It says millions and millions of Americans all around the world are now being warned.
I'm going to speed them up 1.25 real quick.
Look at this. It says State Department issues worldwide caution for U.S. travelers following Trump's Iran strikes. It says State Department warns U.S. citizens to be vigilant as anti-American sentiment rises globally. Now, where's all this coming from? Well, you've probably seen that the United States struck Iran, dropped bunker busters on Iran. President Trump even came out and said that, yes, those nuclear facilities have been obliterated. But there's now...
He's going to listen to what he said. It's going to listen to the rest of the lesson. Because, Trump been bragging about how he completely obliterated Iran. That ain't true.
Pentagon...
Not Iran, but they nuclear facilities.
Reports stating those facilities are not obliterated. And actually, according to multiple experts, that it is too early to tell. Now, we're going to break all this down, explain why there's still a worldwide threat to Americans as anti-American sentiment rises.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready?
No.
All right, 108.
All over the world. Again, I'm going to break this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and what you should potentially prepare for. Again, potentially prepare for. But first, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So look at this right here. It says, Iran fires missiles at U.S. base in Qatar. Trump calls for peace. This was just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that was Monday.
It says
right.
They
Yeah, I just want to be clear. That was Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Monday or Tuesday?
It was let me confirm real quick. This was
that was Monday.
June 23rd. So this was Monday.
Yeah, that was Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
U.S. based in
Con. And again, this is just a little a quick snip to lead us into everything else,
Qatar. Trump calls for peace. This was just a couple of days ago. Okay, look at this one. It says Iranian missiles barrage strikes Israel after deadline. Trump announced 4 ceasefire passes. So here's what was interesting. The United States comes in and we bomb Iran because they are potentially just weeks away from having nuclear weapons. And according to a law between the United States and another 6 countries, they said no, that Iran is not able to have nuclear weapons because they cannot be trusted. So President Trump comes out on True Social just a couple of days ago and he says, well, we have a ceasefire. The two sides agree to a complete and total ceasefire. You may remember because I did a video on that. Now, we talked about that. There was a ceasefire. It was supposed to be good. Well, just hours later, then Israel reports that Iran is hitting them with missiles. And Iran says, no, we're not.
So, as Israel always do, man, they hitting us with missiles. Iran's like, what are you talking about? We ain't.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no telling even if it did get hit, ain't no telling if who missile it was from. Because I did see a video that said Iran was shooting itself with missiles on itself. I did see that. Now I don't know how true it is. I don't know what type of, but I did see that. I did. I seen that video. If anybody else seen it, I guess throw out one in the chat. But I'm
false flags. Shit, that's the big thing now. False flags. You go to war today. You don't know. You don't know why you going to war. I would not sign up for no U.S. military. Yeah, but you got it.
Nah, that's like I seen Elder Yashawamba video. I think it was maybe a couple of weeks ago, but he said how Hollywood is out of business really. Like Hollywood ain't coming back
out since the pandemic. Yeah, the pandemic shut Hollywood down. But go ahead.
And he said with the new Hollywood, the new entertainment, the scandals, the Diddy trial, and the Epstein, and Me Too movement, and different things
what was his name that started it? The Me Too, Weinstein.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. But the point is,
pandemic. Go ahead.
Now, I was about to say, the point is, those fake little scandals they're putting together to catch the people's eye, that's the new entertainment. So the same thing as we seeing right now in war is the point why I brought that up in war. This the new Hollywood scandals and infightings, and you did this. No, I didn't. You shot a drone, so I'm going to shoot one too. Right? And so we about to see a lot of drama here in the last days. Remember, in 2nd Ezra, I think it's 6, and in the GNT, it says that in the end, we will see unstable leaders and confused rulers, man. But I'll go ahead and play it.
But there were missiles hitting Israel. So Israel responds. So now both sides are
So Israel says, so we responded to Israel in YN words. They entered the clip.
Going back and forth. So there was no ceasefire. But then President Trump says there is a ceasefire. So as of today, they have agreed to a ceasefire. But look at this, okay? This is where things are interesting.
Here it is.
This is from True Social, okay? This is just from yesterday. This is from last night. It says, okay, fake news CNN together with the failing New York Times have teamed up in an attempt to demean one of the most successful military strikes in history. The nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. Both the Times and CNN are getting slammed by the public. That's what President Trump said. Now, here's where things are interesting.
Every month, this Airbnb pays.
So like, if we got like 30 more seconds on the Taza Pound, we'll go to that
rent.
The next bid.
Yeah, Colin.
Response. Look at this. President Trump rejects intel assessment, says Iran atomic sites have been destroyed. According to the Pentagon, no, they haven't. Look at this right here. It says the nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. That's what President Trump said on True Social. He said CNN and New York Times, which first reported the intelligence findings on Tuesday, have teamed up in an attempt to demean one of the most successful military strikes in history. Now, this is what you need to understand. That when CNN and New York Times came out and said that it wasn't successful, that those facilities were not obliterated. And obliterated, those are Trump's words, not mine, or they destroyed, they took some heavy damage. But according to multiple intel, it's too early to tell what the damage looks like, especially in Fardau. Okay, that's the big one. Now, look at this. It says, later speaking to reporters at a NATO summit in The Hague on Wednesday, President Trump said the report was very inconclusive, but that he still believes the sites were demolished. It says the intelligence says we don't know. It could have been very severe. That's what the intelligence says. So
I'm going to go to this video because he said a little more few things, but I'm going to go to this video because this one better. But the point what he was about to get to is that Trump keep bragging how the nuclear sites in Iran was completely destroyed. Them 3 strikes they sent out, we did it. We own. It's over.
Go ahead.
No, you got it, Saquon. You got it.
No, Colonel Douglas McGregor, he discussed it, Now, I don't know if it's a front or if he's genuine, but you know, he's disgusted. But he ain't the only one. But yeah, he went all the way back to the '80s with the Wendy's slogan, "Where's the beef?" Because he said, you know, that Iran strike was a nothing burger, and he was going in. But he made some great points, and I'm gonna let you play it.
We're gonna play it. So they gonna add on to what that dude was just saying about the strikes and stuff. But this from Liberty Vote, 1 day ago. It's Douglas McGregor. It says Trump played with serious fire in Iran.
I think it dawned on him that he was playing with very serious fire. All sorts of terrible things could happen.
So recently, Douglas McGregor went on Judge Napolitano's podcast and is talking about how Trump played with serious fire in Iran, the negative consequences despite the ceasefire, and especially the things that no one's talking about regarding this situation and how it could spiral out of control in the future. So let's watch and let's react.
Now, right quick,
and subscribe to
the brother got a document that's going to explain why that is. What he just said, go back just a little bit, and if you don't mind, play it one more time with the dude gave the commentary.
I got you. Yeah, I'm excited to get to this document.
Yeah, because you know, that's one of the first things, you know, I learned coming into this truth, because you know who Mazzini is, right?
I seen he's some type of Italian guy.
He's the father of the mafia.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Mafia is an acronym for the 5 families that started the mafia. Mazzini is the M in mafia. Then you got Arturo, you got Furti, Furti, Avalocmente, no, Incendi is the I, and Avalocmente. Them 5 families started the mafia. Mazzini, right, was one of the top dons, and I don't know how he hooked up with a KKK, Albert Pike, but they both was, I guess, through the lodge and the, you know, the Illuminati business. They linked up. Mazzini was impressed by Pike, and he kind of put Pike on, and so Pike rose up quick through the ranks and became a grand master of the lodge here in America. You know, all the lodges. I'm guessing all the lodges in America. He came up to grand master, and so the brother, what you see on the screen is a letter that he wrote outlining the 3 world woes. All right. Now, I want to play that commentary one more time, and I want y'all to just keep in mind what he's saying. Just put a pin in it. It's going to come back up.
Well, at the moment, I think he's done his best to avoid it, to be frank. I think it dawned on him that he was playing with very serious fire. All sorts of terrible things could happen.
So recently, Douglas McGregor went on Judge Napolitano's podcast and is talking about how Trump played with serious fire in Iran. The negative consequences.
Trump played with serious fire in Iran. So just keep that in mind. You got it, brother.
Ceasefire, and especially the things that no one's talking about regarding this podcast, and is talking about how Trump played with serious fire in Iran, the negative consequences despite the ceasefire, and especially the things that no one's talking about regarding this situation and how it could spiral out of control in the future. So let's watch.
And just to make sure everybody, you know, what is you talking about what Trump did in Iran as far as the ceasefire thing and those missiles shot off, right?
Right. All okay. Yeah.
Just to make sure we all on point, just to see what he getting at, you know.
So
why is all this happening?
Let me bring this out. This is Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Now, Teman is a tribe out of Edom. So we're talking about Edomites here, all right, through and through. The Temanites today are the children in Germany. This is where they are. These are the brains of Esau Edom. You know, that's what they're noted for. So it says, surely the least of the flock. Now this is in reference to the Amalekites. All right, the least of the flock. These are the people that's bringing the world right now into this third woe. But before that happens, they're going to bring the world into Jacob's trouble. And it has to be the world because Jacob is scattered to the four corners of the world. So that has to come, Jacob's trouble. And then along with the MOTB and, the persecution. But at the core of all of that is the Amalekites.
Yep.
All right. So Edom in general, but leading the charge, the spearhead is Amalekites or the Amalekites. All right. That's why it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. All right. So just so y'all know where we're going with this. All right. We're talking about the Israelis bringing the whole world into this third woe.
Yes.
You got it.
God.
Podcast and is talking about how Trump played with serious fire in Iran, the negative consequences despite the ceasefire, and especially the things that no one's talking about regarding this situation and how it could spiral out of control in the future. So let's watch and let's react. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Colonel, was any bona fide military purpose served by the United States of America spending $100 million to drop 30,000-pound bombs on empty tunnels in the Iranian mountains?
No, I don't think so. I think this turned out to be a training mission with live ammunition, but fortunately, no one alive on the ground where the bombs fell, and apparently nothing.
Like I'm not trying to stop it, but you heard what Judge Napolitano just said with the dude whatever his name is, Strava report said. Those missiles that Trump bragged about, you ain't do nothing. He said you hit empty things and they go going to why it really wasn't beneficial.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, although it happened, it was a rumor war because it was. Well, I'm gonna let them break it down.
Yeah, because it's like
but you see,
nigga go into it.
Right. You see McGregor how he answered him. He like, no, he just totally disgusted. But go ahead,
it's good. So for the listeners, just
Con.
And man, matter of fact, as this video planned, go back and look in the description box in 5 minutes. All these links to these videos and articles we touching on go be in there. Refresh this in 5 minutes. It's gonna be in there.
Served by the United States.
Play it back.
Let's watch and let's react. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Colonel, was any bona fide military purpose served by the United States of America spending $100 million to drop 30,000-pound bombs on empty tunnels in the Iranian mountains?
No, I don't think so. I think this turned out to be a training mission with live ammunition, but fortunately, no one alive on the ground where the bombs fell, and apparently nothing of consequence on the ground where the bombs fell.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know for sure the ramifications.
Now, he's going to say something important, and I'm going to let him make that point, and then I'm going to say my piece. He's going to make a real good point right here. Yeah, go ahead,
Consequence on the ground where the bombs fell.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know for sure the ramifications of all that.
Colonel, was any bona fide military purpose served by the United States of America spending $100 million to drop 30,000-pound bombs on empty tunnels in the Iranian mountains?
No, I don't think so. I think this turned out to be a training mission with live ammunition, but fortunately, no one alive on the ground where the bombs fell, and apparently nothing of consequence on the ground where the bombs fell.
Would not.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know for sure the ramifications of all that. A lot of the uranium isn't accounted for. Both the IAEA and a U.S. spokesman basically confirmed that. And if anything, this just incentivizes Iran to pursue a nuclear weapon. Who wouldn't after this? After you're backed into the corner by the Israelis and the United States that you're not now going to pursue a nuclear weapon. So this is going to backfire in a way. And Netanyahu and the neocons are continuing to call for regime change. They still will continue to call for regime change. You should see Mark Levin's Twitter right now. He's, frothing at the mouth and just despondent at the fact that this didn't go all the way full bore the way he wanted. So that's where we're at now. It doesn't seem like this strike served much of a purpose other than to try to, get Trump some sort of quote unquote victory in his eyes to sell that we had ended the nuclear threat, which didn't exist in the first place, even according to U.S. intelligence, until like a day before the.
Mind you, and this is going to add on to the other information we're going to get after this. Would Israel and America always complain about terrorist threats or enemies? They don't exist. They never existed. They don't exist.
That was my point. That was exactly my point. So
I didn't even know you was going, No,
that was because he hinted on a beautiful point, and that is, for 30 years, Netanyahu been talking about the threat of Israel having a bomb. Then they attack Iran having the bomb. Then they attack Iran. Wouldn't that been a perfect time to just go all in? But I forget who I was watching, and they said, and I agree, that Iran showed remarkable restraint for somebody that's bloodthirsty and not for, want to kill everybody in sight and all of this. They had the perfect excuse and the perfect scenario to go in, but yet, they still talked about the ceasefire, and we know it didn't go through, but, it speaks volumes, all right, to Esau, Edom, their deception and their lies, just for them to gain control. Well, this is all it is. And I'm gonna go to the scripture right quick. This is all it is in a nutshell. And I'm here in Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields. All right. And this is what this is. But in this case, the field is the world. They've been granted the fatness of the earth. Now they want the rest of it.
Right.
So it's saying they covet fields and take them by violence. And houses, all right, Gaza, Palestine, here in America. I mean, this is worldwide. BlackRock is buying up everything that ain't nailed down. Well, shit, that is, they buying up every goddamn thing, including the kitchen sink and whatever is nailed and glued down. All right. So they are coveting fields. They are taking them by violence. It says in houses and take them away. And how many people getting ready to be homeless? I'm talking about here in America.
Mm-hmm.
It says, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore, thus said Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, behold, against this family, the family of Edom, do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks. neither shall ye go heartily, all proud, with your neck strung out and your chest poked out. It says, for this time is evil, and it's his evil. It's going to start off as Jacob's evil, but it's going to end off as Esau's evil or his trouble. But let's break this down. And this is my analysis and me speaking as a man on listening to Scott Ritter, the Colonel, Douglas McGregor. It's another guy, Professor, and several other videos. Even what the judge had to say, Napolitano and Gerald Salente.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just processing it, and I'm listening to the very same video the brother just played. And I didn't think nothing of it when Douglas McGregor said this was nothing more than a live exercise. Yeah, that's a good one too. He been on the circuit, you know. McGregor been on the circuit.
Yeah, he been getting busy.
But he said this is nothing more, or that was nothing more than a live exercise. And then it dawned on me later in the video. I said, wait a minute. That's got to be what this is. Because this is too playful. It's too kiddie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real war. And it's theater. But this is, like you just said, this is the Hollywood shit. And I'm going to explain. All right. We don't have to play it. Mike Adams said something that was heavy. And he was going into how Iran has been in compliance with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty of NATO. They've been in compliance, never violated. They've been in compliance with IEAE inspections. And so Mike was saying that when they opened this last attack, all right, well, when the Israelis first struck Israel, or Iran, I'm sorry, I keep saying Israel, but when the Israelis first struck Iran, it was after an inspection. And what Mike said is that after the inspection, the IEAE gave all of the info and intel to the U.S., and in turn, the U.S. gave it to the sombrero poquitos, the small hats. And so they got the intel on all of Iran stuff, but you just heard him say that it was some nuclear active material went missing. He didn't say plutonium, it was something else. But they say it's unaccounted for, and that could be anywhere. But the point is, how did America not hit anything? You have to ask these questions. Because y'all telling me this is big bad America, they don't play, and all the baddest military in the world, and you, like he just said, wasted millions and millions of dollars on an empty strike? Big bad America? I don't necessarily buy it. And this is what I explained to the brother. All right. So through the IEAE, it's a possibility that now Israel has intel on Iran's facility. So I believe in exchange that Iran was allowed to strike Israel and the Iron Dome so that they could in turn have intel on how to penetrate that Iron Dome. And this was seen after the pager strike, where they killed all of these top generals and military officials with these what would you call these bootleg ass pages, these weaponized pagers, if you will. And then Iran launched an attack. And it was fairly successful.
Yeah.
But get this. If you serious, why you just shooting bullshit ass missiles? They wasn't shooting at top stuff, and there's a reason why. But if you really fighting mad, yeah, you'll send your lesser missiles out in the lead. Then once you figure out, okay, we need to strike here, there, then you go in with your good shit. Why they didn't? And even Ariala, I got to go back to Elder Ariala. He came out and said, "What?" I have to paraphrase, but Iran need to quit bullshit.
Right.
Well, this is how I'm putting this together in the spirit, is that because up at the top, the elite, this is all them coveting land. They want that whole area, that greater Israel, they want that. Problem is, there's people there. Their plans is it won't be people there for much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Iran know how to attack the Iron Dome now. So what does that mean? That means, just as the IAE gave that information to America and it passed it on to Israel, well, this same intel that Iran had, you best believe, if Russia don't have it, they will have it.
Right. They gotta have it.
So, and that ain't extrapolation. They struck the Iron Dome there twice now, and they have the intel. If Russia's an ally, and they come to help me, yeah, I'm gonna give them the intel. So that Iron Dome, you can hang that up. And we've been saying that.
Got a precept.
But now we have the proof Israel has struck inside of it, and just as recently as last week. And Israel, I guarantee you, the Mossad know the location of where Iran major targets are. So getting back to the elites, because remember, they are carrying out the Most High's plans, but they have a perverted view of it. It's sinister. It's left-handed. But it's all accomplished with the scripture. You grab the scripture, you could do nothing against the truth before the truth, Baba Prashad.
Con, this is 2 Corinthians 13:8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth.
And that's in general. I know it says we, but that's the power of the truth. It's like that buoy, you know, or inflated ball, and you try to push underwater. Well, that's what Esau been doing. But you can't push it under the water and expect it to stay there. You got to stay or have some pressure to keep it under the water. And that's the truth. The truth wants to shine. It wants to shoot to the top. And so now it's shooting to the top. Esau is losing the power to keep it suppressed. But anyway, yeah, ain't nobody can come against the truth. And that's what Zerubbabel was proving in his discourse. So although it says we, can't nobody do nothing, anything against the truth. Esau was allowed to deceive for a season, but his season is up. And so, right, they are working on the left-hand side to fulfill scripture. But as I said, perverted, they think that they're going to bring this about and then reap the benefits.
Yeah.
But they're going to bring this about and carry their red ass into captivity. So, right at the top, and I'm going to quote Edward G. Griffin. Yeah, he made a beautiful quote, and he said, as you go, the conflict is fake. You know, Russia against Iran. And the reason I brought that up and I made note of it because I thought about Chief Ephraim. He don't know that the conflict is fake.
Right, he ain't watching.
He ain't watching shit.
He don't watch the 30 Day Lives.
No, yeah. I was thinking that too. I was thinking that too last Friday. But the conflict is fake. But then he said the battles will be real because y'all gonna carry your simple asses to that Middle East and go fight for a reason you have no godly idea of what you're fighting for. But
Right.
you're going there for your judgment. For all the U.S., all the militaries of the world will be vanquished in this next woe. All right. And we're going to get the scriptures in the Middle East, the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. And I'm right here, right quick. All right. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. All right. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So this all this is saying is get your military prepared. All right. So when it's saying beat your plowshares into swords, all right, and your pruning hooks into spears, we can see that here in America. Ain't nobody farming. They didn't all but shut down farming here in America and abroad. But I'm gonna tell you why. Because they've been preparing weaponry. All right. Bill Gates is buying up the farmland for what? To weaponize food. But also, don't get me misunderstood. They are preparing for war at the same time. But the whole world is at a state of war. The people that are not in war right now, such as Ukraine, Russia, the small hats, Iran, all that area with Gaza and all that, if you're not at war, you're preparing for war. And because people see it. So this is what it's saying in verse 10. Joel chapter 3, verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. You hear Iran, which for all these years been playing ball. And I just mentioned how, and that's a matter, you could look that up, that they've been in compliance and playing ball with all of Esau's guidelines and all of his strenuous, even with to the point of them being under these strenuous, what they be putting on them countries, the U.S. Sanctions.
Sanctions, yeah.
The sanctions. Iran has been operating under crippling sanctions. Probably at least the last, I say maybe a good decade or so. You know, and here it is. You playing by the rules. You try and show these people, you know, but then they will say, oh, well, you support terrorists. That's how the game goes in the Middle East. And what did you say earlier? Did you say it on here or before here about Esau being the top terrorist? I think you said that, huh?
Yep. I think it was before.
He is the reason all that terrorism is in the Middle East. Before Renaissance, you didn't have terrorism. Yeah, you had war. That's different. You meet your opponent you declare war, you meet your opponent, and you go for blood. Okay, fine. That's Edomite type of shit. But yeah, let's get to this letter, going back to this third woe. All right. Well, I got a little bit more. Verse 11, Joel 3 and 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So this valley of Jehoshaphat, all right, Jehoshaphat was taken from the Hebrew word. It's an English transliteration of the phrase Yahweh Shaphat, which means the Lord's judgment or Yahweh's judgment, or either Yahweh's decision. All right, that's what that Yahweh Shaphat. Shaphat is judgment or decision. All right, and it says to judge all the heathen round about. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. All right, the harvest is the elect. Well, the harvest is the end of the world, but what's going to be harvested out of that is the elect. All right, because you go to Matthew 13, it tells you straight up for the harvest. Is that 13? Yeah, for the harvest is the end of the world. All right, and that's what that's what we are. We're at the end of the world. So put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. Cast the wicked, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. That's why you read what's Isaiah 63. Who is this that coming from Edom, Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Cause he's gonna be treading the wine press. He's gonna be smashing heads like grapes, but he's not gonna, do it physically. Come down. Then again, I don't know, but the Lord is gonna be. He don't be getting these heathen blood on. This is symbolic talk for all of the killing that's going to be taking place. All right. So it says, verse 14, multitudes in the valley of decision. Right. The valley of Yahweh Shaphat. The Lord's decision. And that was it right there. So with us knowing and understanding the prophecies, as I was explaining to the brother, we know, and it's going to go into in this letter also, we know Jacob's trouble got to come along with the MOTB, as well as the hour of temptation. So ain't no war kicking off before then. You're not going to implement an MOTB in the midst of a world war. And the apostles had even, apostles to all the apostles say the same thing. These prophecies got to fall in order. And so you will see that MOTB before all hell breaks loose, but they need to create a theater to get you involved. And that's what everybody is right now. They all emotional and they asking me at work. The motherfucker otherwise don't have shit to say to me. I don't know why they coming to me. I don't talk about, current affairs, especially scriptures, but it's a sign of the times. But people are here in America, they don't want their lives interrupted. That's too much of an inconvenience. And so the method of the elites, they have to let you know what they're going to do before they do it. And this back and forth with Iran in this theater, the mightiest military allegedly on the face of the earth, can't strike nothing with the top stealth bomber, B-2 bombers, and you can't hit nothing. And them things are advanced. And you don't hit shit. No, this is theater, bro. This is theater, but now they each got intel on each other for when the real showdown comes that the elites think that they're going to control. They think they can control this third world war and then rise up from their underground cities and claim the that as the phoenix rising from the ashes, they can claim all the world. It said that's why it says when he is about to fill his belly.
As a spirit, I just want to get that.
We'll bring it out.
And
then we'll get into that letter.
This Job chapter 20, because that's the point we at now. That's what we kind of going into. You know, like everything that Esau had set from generations, decades, even longer than that. Now it's the time that they have to fulfill it because they see time.
They are done. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm just crunk.
Yeah, now they see time running out for them. So now they're being forced by the Lord. Either you go do it now or never, and we know it's the never. But either you go do it now or you go allow the prophecy to be fulfilled. So in Esau's mind, in order for us to continue, we have to cut off prophecy. The thing is that the Lord making it so difficult for him now. Look at what's happening. He's been outed by the prophets, by these, these insiders. You got the nations turning against him. Everybody's seeing what he's doing. The Lord showing signs. But I'm gonna read this real quick. What Elder Tazapah was saying, because I want to read this article, too, because it's some good information on how the plans were set for all the world wars to happen. And even just looking through this, what Elder Tazapah sent me, according to World War I, that happened just as it was said in his right. According to the World War II, it happened just as it was said according to this letter. And I'm reading what it said the plans was for World War III, and it's looking like it's taking place.
And that's what we are right now. It's going down as we both speak. You want to get into it now? Or you have the scripture.
Oh, I'm gonna finish this real quick. This Job chapter 20.
Oh yeah, Job 20. Come on, yeah.
This Job chapter 20 and verse. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Verse 20. It says, "Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left, and there shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness," and it's talking about the wicked when you go to the top of this chapter. But it says, verse 22, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits." And it's talking about when he had the time to fulfill his plans, his new world order, to get the world under complete control. When he had this very time, it said he was going to be in straits, straits, a difficult situation. And that's what the Lord put the so-called white man at in these world leaders. It says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." And that's also what we're saying. The working man getting tired of this, man. But I just want you can hop into this letter. I don't know if you want to start from the top, and I can read it for you. You could just commentate on it.
Yeah, you can read it, man. If you want to start with 1 or you want to get straight to 3, read from 1. Okay, I ain't gonna go into it, but just read it.
I'm gonna read from 1. We could just get on 3. I'm gonna put this in a chat so y'all can click on it, because I don't think I got this in the description box. I don't think I put this one in because we was already talking by the time you sent it to me,
Right.
But other than that, shalom too, Tala, Akim Akwa through tuning in, and shalom to the elder Hawaii, Yahabashima Brakatah.
Hey, shalom, my Yam is Kwanya.
Brakatham to everybody who tuning in. But let's get into this this article I just put in the chat. But it says Albert Pike letter to Mazzini. Now we know Albert Pike is like the father of the Illuminati, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And Mazzini, as I knew he was Italian, I looked a little bit into it before me and Elder Tazapah spoke about it. But just to highlight what they said earlier, Mazzini is like pretty much the real Godfather. They call
the original.
The Al Pacino, the Godfather. This is the real one. Based off a true story. This the father, the leader, the starter of the mob, so to speak.
And that's how you know how they can do whatever they do, shake people down and do whatever they want to do in the streets and allowed to operate. That's a faction of the Illuminati, the mafia, which I'm not sure if they're operating anymore, but if they are, it's not to the extent where they was in their prestigious years, you know, from all the movies and shit. Everybody's saying with shit, what's his name? The Teflon Don.
John
That
Gotti.
John Gotti, after he went down, that was the end of the mafia, and that was Giuliani that was credited with taking down the mafia. But right, that's who Mazzini go back to. That's the the Godfather, the original Godfather. But go ahead, brother.
And you know it's funny at the times apart. This is a side note, but you know how they call John Gotti the Teflon Don?
Con.
I was watching. You know how he got his nickname Teflon Don?
Yeah.
Man, go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
Now I was watching a documentary on Teflon. You know the non-stick pans.
Right.
And how it was poisoning everybody, you know, at the time it was being made, which it still is today, but it poisoned gave a lot of people cancer. But the point is, it was non-stick pans. But when he was in court going to trial, none of the charges was sticking to him. So that's why they call John Gotti the Teflon Don.
That's how you Teflon Don. That's right.
You know, a little lesson within a lesson, you know. But I'm gonna read this. It comment anytime of the times apart. I'm gonna just read through, and I know we want to get straight to the Third World War, but kind of when we read the First World War and Second World War, if you know, these are the things that actually happened, and this was a letter before, you know. But it happened. Is the point? Isaiah 10. If a brother want to put Isaiah 10 and 1 in the chat, it go way before the laws they doing now. They been had family plans set up that generations was gonna have to follow down the line. So this all the stages that we on, man. The war, how they gonna set the MOTB up, Iran, the Israel. It's all a war, but really, who is the director? The Heavenly Father, man. But it says Albert Pike, letter to Mazzini, the Illuminati plan for 3 world wars, August 15th, 1871. I'm gonna go straight to the point. It says, should I read it up a little bit? Right. So this is a letter that Albert Pike wrote to Mazzini. It says Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary leader in the mid 1800s. Albert Pike was a Mason leader, 33 degree. You know, I'm sure we heard about him. But it says following are apparently extracts from the letter, showing how 3 world wars have been planned for many generations. The First World War. It says the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia, and of
that
making,
happened. Go ahead.
And it says, and of making that country a fortress of aesthetic communism.
Exactly. That happened not 2019.
Communism.
Say that again.
I said I think I said that wrong. I think it's atheistic communism.
But they are Orthodox Christians in Russia. So that part, for the most part, didn't happen. But they did bring in the communism. But that was around 1917, 1918, right at the ending of World War I. That's what happened. They went in and killed that family, which Apostle Tahar said those were Israelites, and I believe it. And they didn't want central bank in Russia, and so the whole family got slaughtered. The Tsar, you know, and they set up the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks brought in the communism. Lenin, Trotsky, and Stalin. Them 3 guys were recruited and indoctrinated, for lack of a better term, right here in America, New Jersey. Rockefeller Standard Oil. They trained them how to go in and do all, you know, to stage a coup. They was trained in New Jersey, if my memory served me correct. and then they was sent out to Russia to stage that. It was three of them three: Trotsky, Lenin, and Stalin. But go ahead. So that happened,
Yep. So
except for the
World War,
atheism part, unless
sorry.
I'm missing something. But Russia, for the most part, is Christian Orthodox Christianity. Go ahead.
Kind of says the divergencies caused by the agentur or agents of the Illuminati between the British and the Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the governments and in order to weaken the religions. So that was World War One.
And
It
I
says,
believe, if I'm remembering correctly, shit, I think I may be. I'm thinking Britain did bring the U.S. coerced the U.S. into entering World War One. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that did happen. But go ahead,
yep. It says the Second World War. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences. Now, remember, think about what we read. This was a letter before. Now, we know man's goings are the law, so the law put us in a spirit to feel like this. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists.
all
This
right,
war,
right there. Who are the fascists? Them same communists that was installed. Well, no, not in Russia, but the communists of Germany. That's who. That's the fascists. Go ahead.
yep. It says, and political Zionists.
And that's them some small hats again. See, they all through. They all through here. So first, it was behind they wanted to oust the czars because they was coveting the field of Russia, and now they up in there. All right. Second one was more so for political control, and that was they set Hitler up. Hitler was a small hat. I went into that Friday. No, I didn't. I said that on the sit down. He was set up. Adolf Schicklgruber.
Yep.
They changed his name to Hitler, but he was the son of Rothschild. I don't know which Rothschild, but he was the son of a Rothschild and shit. Well, one of the Rothschild popped one of his maids, and that was Hitler's mother. So Hitler came forth from a Rothschild and his maid. So, and that's what they do, and that's what I did go and put that on the block. And they changed the names and they put their people in these top positions. And
Yes.
you think it's real beef. But
Yes.
right, the conflict is fake. But you think it's real beef. You really think 6 million Jews got killed. And I just and I wish I had, but I got a video where Holocaust survivors say, man, they was putting on plays, playing live music. They had a piano they was playing. They said it wasn't none of that. Some people did, get killed, but they said for the most part, they was up in that Chile.
Yeah, soul playing.
And that's by their own testimony. I think I got that video somewhere, but that was all drummed up. And now they got newspapers going back to World War One, talking about 6 million Jews being persecuted. That was a theme throughout the 1900s. 6 million Jews. So yeah, read that again, brother.
Yep. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists.
Mm-hmm.
This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed
Now,
And
who was that? The Germans, Hitler. And yeah, it went underground. It was not destroyed. It went to South America. And it went over the world. All right. Them top scientists, Operation Paperclip, that was the core of the Nazis, Mengele, all them goddamn, but them are these people are atrocious. And some of the experiments, they were experimenting on people, no anesthesia, they awake and shit, and they cutting on, man, and then listen to the name Mengele.
Mangala.
And that's what he was mangling people. That's what he was doing. And that was going on. But them Jews was having a good time, under Hitler. Because he was one of them. But they needed to drum that sympathy up for the Balfour Declaration, which was Britain again, coveting land. Balfour wrote the letter to Jacob. Was it Jacob Rothschild? And saying how somehow they gave him the land, but I don't know how that worked. But the deal was that I forgot how the deal go. If it come to me, but it was something to the effect that if Britain brought America into the war and helped defeat the Germans, that somehow that was to work out where they end up with the land. I have to go back and see. Esau shit is real confusing.
And that's what he
But,
do as a pod.
It's crazy.
He put 300 pages of information so you won't sift through it. He make it confusing so you don't have to go through it. So like I'm gonna cut you off.
Yep, it make it tedious for no goddamn reason. But yeah, brother, go ahead.
And I just put a little information if y'all want to look into the Balfour Declaration, which I know the apostles, elders, brothers, bishops been talking about it. So but
and right quick. That's what came out of the Second World War. The Balfour Declaration, as well as this it wasn't then, but the U.S. Federal Reserve note as the world reserve currency. That came out of the Second World War. All right, so the small hats got to go 1948.
Yep.
And even before the war ended, 1944, the Bretton Woods Conference was called, and the United States Federal Reserve note became the world reserve currency. So that came out of World War II. You got it.
Yep. It says this war, World War II, this war must be brought about. We right here. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed. Right, the old Hitler movement is destroyed, and the political Zionism is strong enough to to institute a sovereign state of Israel and Palestine.
Bam.
And
what they still fighting for right now, or this beef still right now behind that. But yeah, brother, you were saying something?
I was about to say, so that's how that fulfilled the Second World War fulfilled the prophecy of Esau going into our land and calling themselves the small hats.
Yeah, a bastard should dwell in Ashdod.
And it says, during the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then, which believe in Christianity, Christendom, it says, which would be then restrained and held in check. Man, it's so funny when I read this, when you sent this to me, because I know the apostles and, certain elders, like I know that Yashawamba here said, but ain't nobody looking for Christianity no more. Nobody worry about that. That was used for its time. But going back to this letter, it said that right here in this letter. It says Christendom, which will be restrained and held in check until the time when we will need it for the final social catalysm.
Yep, exactly. And that's right now. All right. And that's getting ready to come. But as you were saying a while ago, this is Zechariah 9:6. And a bastard should dwell in Ashdod. That bastard is Esau Edom. All right. Now Ashdod is like when you go to Blue Letter, I believe it says southwest of Jerusalem. So it's in our land. That's where they are. It says, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines, which the modern day Philistines is Esau, Edom. Philistines ain't nobody checking for the Philistines nowadays.
Ain't nobody looking for you, Otis.
Hell no. So right, that's the second time we read today about the Most High cutting off the pride of this devil. But that was it. Go ahead.
I got a quick one to show that Esau, the so-called white man, is in our land today, and he not the real
Beautiful
Jew. You know, he not the real chosen people, the Israelites. And then he called himself the small hat or the Jew, but that's just one tribe. But let me read this. This is Isaiah 36:5. It says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen. So the Lord is speaking to the heathen, but he's going to specify exactly which heathen. Because even within our land right now, you got multiple heathens right now. You got the Palestinians, they ain't their land either. That's our land. The small hats in Israel, they ain't their land, that's our land. Even going towards the west in that land, all that's what Abraham went get back that was given to Adam in the beginning. So you got heathens in our land. The point is the Lord about to specify a specific heathen though, who really trying to set himself up in that very land. Let's read it again. Isaiah 36:5. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. And Idumea is the way of saying Edom. In the Idumea is the Greek form of saying Edom. So the Lord is speaking against all the heathens, but he's specifying the so-called white man, woman, and child. And it says against all Idumea, which, so this next portion we're about to read is talking to Esau, against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Israel, the real Israelites not in the land, according to end time prophecy, the so-called white man will have that land, as we would call them today, small hats or JEW-ish, was going to be in that land until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That's all we seeing.
Yep.
And the Lord leading us up to prophecy to get them out there, to set fire on that land, set fire on America. Even before that, a digital system to be set up, then send fire to get us back over there. But the thing is, Esau been having these plans. I'm going to go back to this. Esau been having these plans in place on how they was in their mind. We was going to set these world wars into place, destroy everything to get it, as it's saying Job 20, so they could fulfill their belly and start a new world order in their mind. But it was only going to lead to their destruction, man. And it's written in their own plans. But you got it on times up. I know we had a lot, so I'm gonna say this too. I know we might wind it down in a few because we really on the third time.
Yeah, that's all I had. After you hit that third one, that's it.
Yeah, we're on the third time. I think we could finish. We could finish because we went longer than this before. We've been going to hour and 16. We can finish because everything else we can't get through.
Yeah, I ain't got a whole lot. Yeah,
let's get through it. Let's, because we might have to do it like a Thursday live on a Sunday or something, you know. But this is the Third World War, going back into Alpha Pike plans to Mazzini, to Giuseppe Mazzini. So the First World War, the Second World War, and happened according to somewhat of what this said. Now let's read about the Third World War, and y'all tell us if we seeing this or not. Third World War. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the adjuncture of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world.
So Con.
That's true.
Now I had the brother, if you still got it, to look up Agentur.
Gotcha.
All right. Now remember earlier I said, remember what the guy said, Trump is playing with fire. That's the reason why. He's the agentor of the Illuminati. His job is to kind of MC the shit, you know, to keep it going, keep the party going. That's the read agentor. All right?
Kind of got two definitions for you. This from collinsdictionary.com. It says agentor. Agentor. An agency is a business which provides services for a person or another business. I got another one for you, and you got it.
All right, now, right quick. Agentor, someone that does business for somebody else.
For somebody else.
Yeah, what does that sound like?
Trump
does that sound like AIPAC? The U.S. Congress and AIPAC? Who's the commander in chief of the U.S. government? Trump. Which is why the brother was showing the Illuminati card game. Trump is featured on 2 different cards in that game because he has to be that agentor of the Illuminati.
If I may,
he got 3 of them? Or is it?
No,
okay, but go ahead. Yeah, okay, you got it.
Read it real quick, and you got it. Just so they know, because there's 2 of them, and it's so man, the Wadi Halbashim Shah, because according to the Esau plans and his even card game, which I think came out 70s, 80s, 90s, it played out this way. The first card for Trump that came out was the charismatic leader, which man, Elder Taza Powell, affectionately joke and say, the first term Trump or the second term Trump, because it is a difference. The first term Trump was the first card that came. Would you say, Salagi?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Now, the first term Trump was according to what we literally seen. Now, going back to this Illuminati board game, right? Card game. This was the first leader of a future, for the sake of what we're talking about, an agentor, right? It says a charismatic leader. And this is what it says about this card that you can pull. This card may be played at any time and counts as the action for the group it affects. The increased power takes effect immediately. And look, when Trump got in office, things happen fast. It says the power for one fanatic group is increased to 6. That's that key number 6. Link this card to your chosen fanatic group. No player may have more than one charismatic leader in play, right? That was the first card. That's first term Trump right there. That's first term Trump. MAGA, everybody loved him. Even niggas like, man, blacks are Trump, nigga. But this the second card of that charismatic leader in that board game, card game, Illuminati. So first you had him as a leader, everybody in awe. Look at the crowd, everybody in awe. But this was him after. You see, they got the blonde hair, but this him after. Who does face look like? Who that look like? Let's go. Hold on. Who that look like? Who does look like? This is the Asian tour. Who been used? Who does look like?
All Trump. Day, every day, twice on Sundays.
It says enough is enough. This second term Trump, and that's where we at.
That's his whole attitude too. And he said that with it. He said, "I done had enough with Iran." But no, that's beautiful, brother. Excellent point. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what we saying is second term Trump. First term Trump was the lamb. Second term Trump is the dragon, according to Revelation 13. So the second card of the Illuminati is of that charismatic leader is enough is enough, and we seeing that. And this one says, at any time and at any place, our snipers can drop you. This sounds like YN verbiage.
Ain't that what he said though? He told the supreme leader, "I got a picture of your house," or something like that.
God.
That's it. They going by this is the blueprint.
Yeah. Hey, that's what he just said about Iran.
He told exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's a spirit because we really just played that video on old boy them talking about Trump saying, yeah, we did what we had to do at any time and any place. But this was put in a car again. Let's read it. It's again, the stage is being set for World War III in the system, in the MOTB system. Again, this chorus says, at any time and at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. It says, play this card on your own turn before joining any plots. You may remove all zap, paralysis, or attribute freeze cards that are affecting your power structure. Woo!
Yes,
You may remove
that's a
everything
lot
that's
to
affecting
unpack,
your
bro.
rulership.
Con.
Yeah, so like it says, however, preoccupied with your house cleaning, you may draw no plots this turn. Woo, that's cold. That's cold.
Man, that's beautiful.
Man. You
That's
still wanted
amazing.
some of this World War III?
It's a little bit more. Oh, yeah, hit that Agent 2 part one more time for me.
Con, it says Third World War. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage. So like I gotta see what fomented mean. I read it a couple of times. Foment.
Uh-huh.
It
Basically,
says instigate or to stir
right.
up.
Start
To
some shit.
instigate or to stir up. It says an undesirable or violent sentiment or course of action. So these are the things they're gonna use in their plans to start World War I. What they're gonna use to start World War II, and their plans to use the events to start World War III. The stage is being set. Come on, man.
It's being set.
Come on, man.
And they getting all the people energy involved with all of this back and forth in the wars and the rumors of wars. And now everybody's, aware now because of the rhetoric that this third woe is now a possibility. So everybody's in that consciousness now that this ain't for play, that it's possible. Now we know it's inevitable, but for the masses, now they just now seeing that this is a reality, a possible reality in their minds. So yeah, that changes the scope of everything. All right, because the consciousness of the people, it changes reality.
Man.
So now they got they're getting the energy together, they setting the stage. And so next you're gonna see MOT is gonna be more distraction, but you're gonna see MOTB, and with that, our temptation. And some people saying in the June this month, and some people saying, by the end of this summer. But we just have to wait and see. But yeah, I just wanted to read that one more time.
Con, if I may at the top of I'm gonna take out this word fomented, since we know it means stir up or to start something, right?
All right.
Just to show how power. And Esau, he used big words that niggas don't know what it means.
Yeah, just right.
But let's see how powerful it is when we take that word fomented out and you was starting and it showed and to see this actually happened. World War I happened, how I said, the second did, and now we see the third. Let's read it. The Third World War. It says the Third World War must be started, right? The Third World War must be started by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati. Now remember, agentur is who? Somebody who working for another, or this one says from the dictionary from Cambridge, the office of bit or business of an agent.
And what are they saying? They're not saying Netanyahu playing with fire. Netanyahu about to go and bring us to World War. They saying
Trump playing with fire.
Yeah, and Trump is about to bring the world into war. They ain't saying Netanyahu because Netanyahu is the representative of the political Zionists.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump is the in between.
Yep.
And then you got for the Muslims, that's Iran and the rest of the Muslim world. That's Houthis, Hezbollah, all the three H's. I forget the other one. But yeah, that's
Mosque, okay.
all of Islam, including the nation. And I mean you niggas, NOI, Nation of Islam. All of us. And that's why I want you to read it, because it mentions about Christian persecution. That's not going, none of this is going to take place until they persecute the Christians. And that's what's coming.
Con.
Jacob's trouble is not, the scriptures are not theory. You got it, brother.
When they say Christians, they ain't talking about Joel Osteen congregation. You know.
But some of them gonna get caught up too. But right, this war is actually against us. Us as Israelites. When you get down to the brass tacks of it, because what land are they fighting over? They're fighting over our land. And now we know it's our land. So what's the next step? Get rid of the, if you was to, if it was possible, you get rid of those who have true claim to the land. And that's what that's about. So yeah, you're right, but Edomite Christians gonna get caught up in it too. You got it.
Kind of says the Third World War must be started by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between, and remember they called Trump the chosen one.
That's
it
right.
says of the Illuminati between, so the one between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. And you know they got that thing coming out with Trump about the Abrahamic covenant with him in the Islamic world.
Yep. That's right.
It's called the Abraham Accords. Abraham Accords. So Trump on the side, check this out. Trump, look, BB, all of them on the side. Look. It's the Abraham Alliance. It's a time for a new Middle East. You got the people of the Middle East and Trump, white ass in the middle. In the middle.
Damn, okay.
In the agentur.
Right, that's it. And when I first read it, I said, man, that's Trump. But now, shit, you bringing receipts with it.
Let me pull that back up.
Yeah.
Let me pull that back up.
So yeah, that's Trump all day.
Look at him. It's the Abraham Alliance. So Trump not only helping the small hats, the Zionists, he also helping what it said. Let me go back to it. The leaders of the Islamic world. Look at this. This is the leaders of the Islamic world with Trump in the middle.
The conflict is fake, but the battles will be real.
Man. But it says, and the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, right, and political Zionism, which is the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. And meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. We shall.
Okay, just real quick. That goes back to what I was saying even before I read that it was talking about how did it go? What you just read? Go back to this the prior sentence.
It says the Third World War must be started or fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. And the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and the political Zionists, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other.
Mutually destroy each other. So Salakia, that's what I want to hone in on. Going back to, what I said, speaking as a man. So now, since Israel got intel on Iran, and Iran got intel on Israel, they can what? Mutually destroy each other. And that was before I read, but something told me to go back and read that, and lo and behold, it's right there in the Mazzini Pike letter. or the Pike Mazzini letter. And, you know, this is just what I'm watching, listening to Douglas McGregor and the rest of them. But it's right there in the letter that Esau planned for them to wipe each other out. And I said, oh, well, yeah, because, you know, I received it in the spirit. So I said, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And now, as I just stated to you, receipts just coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't understand, you might, you know, those of you brothers and sisters that tune in, you know, this Thursday watch is really live. It's really live. We don't chop it up. Now we get together right before the show start, 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll compare notes.
Yeah.
But we rarely, I don't think we might never have. Just sit down and say that this is what I'm gonna talk about, and then we put a lesson plan together. This is every week. Yeah, this is unscripted. Outside of the scriptures, but you know, I never know when we have a discourse. I'll be like, well, "What you got, brother?" And he run it down, and he asked me, "What you got? What you think?" And I, you know, give him the rundown, and then he say, "Shit, you ready?" I say, "Yeah, I'm ready." Or I say, "You ready?" And then we on.
We put up a prayer and get it started.
Yeah, we put the prayer up.
You
and
know,
we come on. So we don't script this out.
Hey, if I may add advertiser part, and a lot of times what people don't know, and I was telling this to brothers, it may seem as the way, and that's how you know it's the spirit, the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai through the Rachakodash. It'd be a lot of times to where we find certain articles or videos that we're gonna touch on literally minutes before the lesson as we talking, or it'd be some articles that we didn't even fully read yet, that just the title got our attention, or the first paragraph got our attention, or it's videos that we ain't even fully watch yet, that it's a certain segment where we bring it forth and we kind of watch it live with y'all, read the articles live with y'all. So everything we read is kind of at times live with y'all. So we, you know, yeah, we got the basis of it, but a lot of information we bring it forth, we keep it fresh, and we learn, you know, kind of building together, you know.
That's right, brother.
You got to go.
The water. That's right. And that was my point. That was my point. You know, it's just, you know, things develop through the spirit to bring forth this edification, just like today. And I had no idea, but I knew about the letter, but you know, I don't remember it verbatim. And so I went back and refreshed it, and I was like, damn, it's right there. Yeah. That's you see, they working from the same playbook. It's just that they on the left-hand side.
Yep.
So, like I said, they wouldn't think they want to, you know, kind of control demo this third woe and then come back and take over. But no, it ain't. Their time is done. But yeah, they want each other to wipe each other out because they covet that. They covet those fields. Brother, the elite Muslim families and the elite small hat families. All right. Which them quote unquote Muslims, if you shake their family tree hard enough, a small hat will fall out. I guarantee. But yeah, that was it, brother. If you want to go into that Christian persecution part, that was it.
That's cool.
There's still a lot to get into, man, but the point was made.
That's it. That's it. Matter of fact, I read this last part about the Christian persecution.
Right.
And then we can kind of just highlight everything else we was going to mention, and we could just wind it down. We won't have to go into it, you know, because again, for everybody who are tuning in, whether you're watching live now, everything that we was going to touch on is already in the description box. So you can't click at it on your own and listen to it and watch it. The only thing you just won't have our commentary from it, you know? So it's in there. You know, but again, as we say, we kind of do this live. We have different things and we just touch on it live, however the spirit flow. You know, but I read this. So at the end of this World War III thing, it says the manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity, which is the true movement of the Lord, and also, you know, the so-called Christians, You know,
Mm-hmm.
the religion in a whole. That's what Esau trying to get rid of. It's
Exactly.
a digital world.
Con.
You know, but he using the main two religions to fight against each other to start it: Christianity and Muslim. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
says, "In the manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will, and the main reactionary movement, honestly, gonna be us man merging with machine, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time." So that's ultimately their
Right.
plans. America is the
That's the
biggest
plan.
Christian leader, Israel, and well, Israel mainly because that's what the Lord. But you also got the small hats. I mean, the Palestinians, the Muslim people, but they want to
Okay,
cut off
con.
all religion, so everybody now they can force everybody through fears to believe in a digital way, a digital system, a digital God, you know, in
Yep.
a digital cloud.
Well, hey, you know, Doge backwards is E-God.
Mm,
Yeah.
And yeah, Esau God.
Yeah. Con. Oh, hey. Yep.
God.
Ultimately.
God.
Yeah.
But now you had anything else out of Taza Par?
Oh no, I'm through. That was it. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
kind of. So I know. Matter of fact, I see brothers got some good precepts. I'm a go through all the rest of the information we had. Which again, Baba Gashad, click on the things we got in the chat. That we'll put in the description box. But all these things are pertinent. Now, what we're going to touch on is that what this war between America, Iran, and Israel is going to lead to is sleeper cells in America. Now, again, since for the sake of time, we ain't gonna read the full articles, but it's there if you're a watchman. Experts reveal where Iranian sleeper agents are going to strike next. Talking about America. Right now, let's play this quick video real quick because this general gonna say is over 2 million sleeper cells in America. We're gonna be quick with this next portion.
Joining me now with that angle is the White House border czar, Tom Homan. Tom, thank you so much for joining us. Can you assess that issue, particularly how many Iranians are in the country that are in sleeper cells trying to do bad to America right now?
Well, look, you and I have talked about this many times. I said the last 4 years, my biggest concern was this open border was the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. So I pulled numbers this morning just from a CBP under Joe Biden. There was 1,272 nationals of Iran released in the country between OFO and the Border Patrol. And you compare that to the Trump administration, zero. Right, zero releases. And right now, because of President Trump's leadership, we have the most secure border in my lifetime, most secure border in the history of this nation. So we have a secure border. That was President Trump's big win on securing this nation. So we're not releasing people in this country. Special interest aliens aren't crossing that border undetected. But under Joe Biden, we had over 10 million people cross that border. But my biggest concern from
check this out, his biggest concern
day one, beyond the fentanyl, beyond the sex trafficking women and children, were the 2 million known gotaways. Over 2 million people crossed that border. We don't know who they are, where they came from, because they got away, because Border Patrol was so overwhelmed with the humanitarian crisis that Biden created that over 2 million people crossed the border and got away.
Let's stop at that. It's in the chat. 2 million people got away, which means there's 2 million undocumented people who they don't know where they at, what they doing in America right now.
Right.
And remember,
land, well, we got, I think we might be second to China, the most cameras per capita, and you got 2 million motherfuckers missing.
right.
Man, get the fuck out of here, man.
Right.
And now you got me cursing, man. Esau make me sick, bro. Well, go ahead, man.
The Taza Pot, going back to the title, is all a stage.
Yeah.
It's all a stage. And remember, because it's so, man, because there's a lot of information we did have today, because the next video after that was going into the Patriot Act. Remember when 9/11 happened? After that, literally, I've been watching videos on it. 2 months later, think about this. 2 months later, George Bush signed in the Patriot Act 2 months later, after so-called planes flew into the towers, right? The act that he signed was 300 plus pages long. So you telling me from the day 9/11 happened until the day you signed it. Y'all came up with them all those acts and those new decrees,
Right,
300 pages
right.
long within 2 months. Get out of here. Isaiah 10 and 1. I gotta get it. I seen a brother post it. Where is that? Isaiah 10 and 1. Isaiah 10 and 1, the brother Kanakaya. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness, which they have, keyword, which they have prescribed. And the key part is pre, before. Esau do things that he already got planned out, man. Going back to the point, George Bush in 9/11, right after that happened, so-called, right? 2 months later, he signed a 300 plus page document of the Patriot Act. And he told Americans, look, this is going to help y'all. This is going to help y'all against terrorists. But it backfired. And man, we had videos to play. We did have some videos to play going into the Patriot Act. Again, go watch it on your leisure. And go into that. Everything that they told the Americans, look, this is going to help y'all. Better surveillance. TSA in the airports, right? Better to track
X-ray scanners.
Yep. They told them all that, but the thing was, when you go into that, everything they told the Americans they was going to use for outside terrorists, they used for Americans, against Americans, domestic terrorism. And they said after they passed the Patriot Act, more drug dealers and gang members and people in America was arrested more than outside so-called terrorism, man. That was the Patriot Act. Go back and watch some videos. We ain't going into it tonight because, time's sake, but go watch this. And Elder Pie bring up all the things you've been touching on. The Patriot Act, the Immigrants Act, all those different acts. And really, we found out, remember, maybe it's like I'm getting all excited, but remember maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago, we were saying how the Immigrants Act was kind of different from, I forget the other act. And you was like, nah, brother, they kind of the same. Going into it, Elder Taza Pocket, remember those other actions from like 1800s.
Okay, yeah.
You remember what I'm talking about?
Right, trading with the enemy, all that.
Yep, boom. Check this out. Right. You know what I found out today doing a little research? The Patriot Act is the same exact act with just an updated modern name. It's the same thing as the Enemies and Aliens Act. The Patriot Act is the same thing as the Seditions Act. That's the acts. It's the same thing as all the acts that was put out before to where they can cast out immigrants, people, citizens, natives, whatever. If you don't agree with the government and if you speak against the government, it can cast you out into jail or kill you. Now it's just being termed as the Patriot Act, and they can watch you, surveillance you, so on and so forth, which can lead to your judgment, man. That's what we at right now, and what Esau gonna lead to wind it down. What Esau gonna lead to this so-called Patriot Act. A modern day digital Patriot Act is surveillance, but he turning up a level to where it's not just surveillance on the street. Right? It's not just surveillance on a red light, not just surveillance on your Alexa, not just surveillance on your cell phone or your MacBook. It's gonna be surveillance in you. That's under the last thing, man.
That's right. Haraldi said it must be under your skin.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
No, that's it. That's it. And again, if it be the law, what kind of follow?
Right quick, give one of them, bro. Give one of that brother scriptures, man. That's my brother right there. I mean, all my brother. I love that brother right there, man. For why?
Council Elder why he said NDAA Rex 84. And if you know about Rex 84, you know. If not, Baba Kashago look into it. But one thing he said, Sirach 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And he also said problem, reaction, solution. I see Power Thumb got some good ones.
Oh, and I want to mention that always pops up. That's that shit that pops up right before each World War. I know for sure World War I. Maybe not so much the second, but that trading with the enemy always it popped up before the first war. And so it's being refurbished now. A few word changes and this and that, but same results. So yeah, prepare for war.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that we going, but we got to deal with the repercussions of it. But yeah, you good.
Now that's it. So I think we're kind of in it down. If it's on your spirit of the times apart, I'm gonna keep these articles up. And if you want to kind of do a part 2, we can, because it is kind of on my spirit to touch on the rest of these things going into the police state, you know, like a 9/11 2.0, you know. But
No,
I
we
know
can hit it
I've
on
been off
another.
for 2
We
hours, you
can
know.
do another live stream if you want. It's up to you. I mean, at a different time, we can go into it.
Yeah, because it is some good information that I think, you know, the sheep will be benefited from hearing this, you know, going forward. You know what to look for. But
Yeah, I see it.
we'll kind of wind it
I'm
down now.
all in.
Con. Yeah, if it be the Lord,
Yeah.
we'll follow up you know, soon before next Thursday, because I'm sure by the time next Thursday comes, it's gonna be new information. And these articles we gotta pull up here will be, you know, I won't say null and void, but in the past. You know, but if it's on your spirit of Tazapah, you know, Sunday when we get together with the elders and the officers out here, you know, kind of want to follow up. But we'll wind it down now. But Baba Kashai, everybody who is in the chat who listen to this video after, click on the articles, the videos in the description box, and look at it on your own. The Lord maybe spark your spirit to talk about something or to realize something on your own. But it's a lot of things happening right now. As the scriptures say, be not ignorant of anything small or great. You know, but whatever you got at times of pie, you could take us out with.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check out that Patriot Act. That sound interesting. I hadn't seen that one. But that was it. So yeah, it was a lot to unpack, and we didn't unpack it all. But you know, hey, they say leave them wanting more. So hey, Lord willing, we'll follow up to this. But till then, man, we pray that you all were edified. And we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory again unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachapadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000. All right. So to the next one, y'all stay up. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.